Hey YouTube, it's me, Lily, and this is Let's Talk. So this week we are going to be discussing polycystic ovarian syndrome. So fellas, leave the room because this doesn't concern you at all. Unless, of course, the woman in your life suffers from it, then stay because you could probably learn something. Um, Polycystic ovarian syndrome, otherwise referred to as PCOS, affects between 4 and 8, well, according to PubMed Health, 4 and 18% of women. That's like a huge gap there, 4 to 18%. I've read a lot of times 10%. But it affects women, especially those who are slightly overweight or obese, or who end up becoming overweight and obese because of it. It's kind of a vicious cycle the way it works. It's one of those things where it gets better as you lose weight, but it makes it harder to lose weight too, and it's because you've gained weight that sometimes, some of the symptoms become more prevalent. So, I mean, it's just a vicious cycle. And let me just kind of go over exactly what PCOS is, which is what I call PCOS. And it's an imbalance of female sex hormones within your body. You get irregular periods. Um, Sometimes what can happen is you'll get cysts actually in your ovaries. Sometimes you don't even have to have them um, because you have all the other symptoms of it. It causes infertility. It causes male pattern baldness, male pattern facial growth, facial hair growth. You can get hair on your chest. You can get hair on your stomach, on your face. You can gain weight. It can make it really hard to lose weight. Depression can follow, and anxiety, and acne, and skin tags, and you can get patches of like darkened skin pretty much anywhere on your body, but it can happen like on your neck, and um, and then some of the more severe things. I mean, because really, well, infertility is very severe, but the hair growth and things like that seem a little superficial. Because I mean, there are things you can do: waxing, plucking, laser hair removal. Um, I've done all three, and yeah, I might as well say I suffer from PCOS. I've had it, well, been diagnosed with it for about 5 years now. I've probably had it 10 years, maybe longer, because when I look back at all of the symptoms I've had, yeah, it's been about that long. Um, I originally had lap band surgery, hoping to help fix and um, slow down the side effects of my PCOS, and it didn't really work. But now that I've had the gastric bypass, and it's reduced a lot of my carbs, a lot of my sugar intake, which directly affects polycystic ovarian syndrome, because a lot of people who have that also have the insulin resistance that goes along with it. And I've noticed that my symptoms have gotten so much better. Having gastric bypass only 12 weeks ago, um, I actually, TMI for some people, but I got my period right on time this month. Like, the day that was written on the calendar was the day I got it. 28 days after the first time I got it, or the last time I got it. Before, it would be 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Sometimes I'd miss a whole entire month. Sometimes I'd miss 2 months. Um, the worst was one time when it was really, really bad years ago, which was when I first got diagnosed. I went like 10 months without one. And I was so depressed anyway. I was going through depression because of the PCOS that I didn't even notice. 10 months. And I was like, whatever. I like didn't care about anything. But PCOS is a really severe chronic condition that a lot of people don't know about, a lot of people suffer with, and they don't talk about it. I'm getting myself all choked up here because it's a really shitty condition, especially when you're a woman. Okay, so anyways, I had to compose myself a little there. I'm just talking about PCOS, and let me tell you some of the other health conditions that are directly affected with polycystic ovarian syndrome. and that's insulin resistance, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, heart disease. It's basically, completely directly affected to all of the obesity related health conditions and risks that you run when you are overweight. And really, you can get cleared for weight loss surgery by having PCOS because it is like the gateway condition to so many other bad conditions that are out there that affect people who are overweight, because having it makes it really difficult to lose weight on your own. I mean, I trained with personal trainers. I tried every diet program under the world, every diet fad, exercise, and it sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't. I've tried different prescriptions. They put me on metformin. I don't even know how many times, because I would stop taking it because it didn't do anything and it would just make me sick. Um, they tried me on birth control to regulate my periods, and I ended up gaining weight from that. So that didn't work. I've taken diet pills, Meridia. I've taken one, oh God, I can't remember the name of it, but one of them, I could only take it for 3 months because they found that it was super highly addictive, and so you're only allowed to take it for 3 months. I found that since having the gastric bypass, it's helped immensely. Um, Other pills that I've taken the spironolactone, which is supposed to lower blood pressure, which I didn't have high blood pressure anyway, so then I ran the risk of having too low blood pressure. But it's supposed to help with hair growth, particularly on your face. I don't know how it does it, but it does. And I took that for like a year, and I've had 14 laser hair removal treatments. No, no, not that many. 10. I've had between 10 and 12 laser hair removal treatments, and it would help for a while, but because your hormones are so out of whack and so crazy that it'll kill one cycle of hair, and then the next cycle will come in. And then it'll kill that cycle, but then there's another cycle like 3 months later that'll come in. And I wasted so much money. I'm going to end up going back again after I lose some more weight, maybe when I get closer to my goal weight. I'm going to try it again because supposedly it'll take better once everything is a little more regulated in my body, like my hormones and everything, and once I lose the weight and get the PCOS really under control. So that's what I'm going to try to do um, with that, because I can't handle the hair growth. It's horrible as a girl to have to see that, because I mean, I'm kind of vain. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I wax my whole face constantly. I'm constantly plucking. Like, I won't. People are always like, well, I don't see the hair growth. It's all in your head. Yeah, you know why you don't see the hair growth? Because I spend an hour, like, once a week getting rid of it. That's why you don't see it. So, it's a really, really sucky condition because it makes you feel like less of a woman. Because the way it affects you, it basically affects everything that makes you a woman and makes you different than a man. And basically, the reason why is because your female sex hormones are all screwed up, and sometimes the count gets lower, and your male hormones, like testosterone, which every woman does have a little testosterone, those levels go up. A lot of people have weight loss surgery when they have PCOS, and they find it really helps. So if you haven't had surgery yet and you do suffer from PCOS, it is something to consider. If you feel that, your condition is severe enough that it warrants having a surgery that is going to change your life forever, because gastric bypass isn't for everyone. Weight loss surgery isn't for everyone. I found the lap band wasn't for me, and the gastric bypass was. So I mean, it's something to talk to a doctor about, and go to an information session if you haven't yet on weight loss surgery, and it's just something to look into. But what I found is that it's helping my PCOS. I haven't really noticed that the hair growth is coming in any slower, maybe a tiny bit, but not really. Like, I think that's just in my head. I haven't really noticed too much difference. Um, my hair loss hasn't really ever been a big thing. My hair went from being really thick to on the thinner side, but I still had a lot of hair on the thinner side, so that, happened years ago anyway, so that wasn't really anything. But the hair growth is the biggest thing for me, and the, not getting your period and being, riddled with those issues. But I got it right on time this month. We'll see next month. We'll see if it still helps. But I've always read that losing the weight helps. You'll always have PCOS, but you can get it under control. And some people, the metformin and everything works. I mean, it didn't for me, and it really upset my stomach and would make me very sick at the beginning when I would take it, which makes you not want to take the medicine, when that happens. Just to wrap this up, things that are directly linked with polycystic ovarian syndrome, like I said, was diabetes, insulin resistance, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, obesity, heart disease. Those are all directly affected, and that in itself will help insurance to cover the surgery for you if you do decide to have a bariatric weight loss surgery. And then also, you run the risk, women with polycystic ovarian syndrome have a higher risk of developing endometrial cancer. Infertility is definitely a huge factor, and you even have a slight increased chance of getting breast cancer. So it's a really severe condition that you need to get checked out. If you have symptoms like you miss your period a lot or it's irregular, if you have symptoms like facial hair, if you have thinning hair, if your voice is getting deeper, or have any sort of male characteristics, see a doctor and just talk about it. It's simple for them to test. They don't look at your ovaries anymore or take ultrasounds. They can just do blood work, and they can analyze your hormone levels, your FSH, your testosterone levels, and your glucose levels, and they can basically make a determination as easy as that. If you ever question it, just go, because depression lies in the deep in there in PCOS, and a lot of times you don't even realize it, that could be why you're being depressed. I mean, and it's no wonder. Think about it. You're changing. You're becoming, you feel like you're becoming less of a woman. That's enough to give anybody anxiety or get them depressed. And then, the depression is a side effect of it anyways, because it changes your hormone levels. So, I mean, get checked out. If you need to, get on antidepressants. I was on antidepressants for a while. I was on metformin. I was on spironolactone. I was on birth control at one point. I've done it all to try to regulate it. And so far, what's helped the most is weight loss surgery. I mean, it's as simple as that. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to cure everyone, but it definitely helps me. And that's not necessarily going to help anyone else, but it helps me. So with that, I post comments, talk about it if you have it, if you know somebody who has it, how you've dealt with it, if you've had weight loss surgery and have it, and you find that it helps or it doesn't help. I mean, even if you don't want other people to know, because it is kind of a private condition that I don't really tell a lot of people that I even suffer from, send me a message, send me an email. I don't need to talk about this with anyone, but the viewer, the very generic viewer, and I won't tell anyone else what we talk about, but, just know that you're not alone. 10% of women is what I've read most places, and then, as I said, PubMed Health, which is a .gov website, said 4 to 18%. I mean, and to give you an idea, Kate Gosselin, you remember her? Like years ago when she's so irrelevant now, but she has like 8 kids, John and Kate plus 8. She has PCOS. That's kind of why now she has 8 kids, because she had to get in vitro fertilization twice. But anyways, that's a completely different story. But she has PCOS. I've read somewhere that Victoria Beckham has it. I don't know if that's true or not, but she definitely doesn't suffer from obesity. Bitch. But, you're not alone. Lily has it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. This was a little more serious video today. And I'm sorry for kind of breaking down there in the beginning. Like I said, it's kind of a very touchy subject for me that I don't usually talk about with anyone, but I thought that if I'm going through it, somebody else probably is as well. And I just want to help. And I will see you next week. Bye, guys.